Retirement is a trap. Our relentless pursuit of retirement security in the future comes at the expense of living fully today. When you think about retirement, what comes to mind? Is it like relaxation? Is it freedom? For a long time, I actually thought of retirement as the ultimate reward. A time where I can, finally enjoy life, basically without the constraints of work. But recently, I've come to see retirement as something entirely different. Yeah, it's kind of like a carrot society dangles in front of us, keeping us stuck in the 9-to-5 grind until our final days. Now, on some instinctive level, I've always sort of suspected it, but I just never wanted to face that reality. The reality of retirement is actually a lot darker than most people want to accept. You see, we all want to believe in the fairy tale, Now, personally, I have decided to escape the rat race this year. I have no desire to waste the good years of my life at some soul-crushing job just to make some company rich. I don't trust companies, and I never will. They lie and dangle carrots in front of us to keep us working. They use things like, promotions, bonuses, pay bumps. They offer all of this, and yet people still have to work paycheck to survive. And the reason for this is that most wages in the world are very low. Wages are enough to prevent us from starving, but it's not enough to make it possible to work less. And so, life is filled with all sorts of carefully designed wage slave traps to keep us running on the hamster wheel. So, not only am I quitting wage slavery later this year, but I've also decided to never retire. Because, my friends, retirement is a wage slave trap. So, in this video, I want to go over 5 lies when it comes to retirement. So, let's get started. The first one being delayed gratification. The concept of working hard now to enjoy retirement later, it can be sort of deceptive. Many people sacrifice their health, happiness, and relationships in pursuit of a distant retirement dream, only to realize too late that true fulfillment cannot be postponed indefinitely. So, last year, as some of you know, my father passed away from cancer in his late 70s. Now, he had retired, but his final years were far from the ideal vision of retirement. And the year before that, my father-in-law also died in his late 50s, also from cancer, never even getting a chance to retire. And when he was diagnosed with cancer, he instantly knew that retirement was out of reach. So what he did was he liquidated his assets, realizing he'd never see those supposed golden years. And let me tell you, that money ran out quickly. Not being able to work and hospitals, basically draining him. I remember this one day we were visiting him at the hospital and he was crying. Like, he was a very proud and strong person, but he had to ask us if we could help him out financially. Now, obviously, we helped without a moment of hesitation, but my point is, he was depending on Social Security. They didn't do anything. He was counting on society to help him. It did nothing for him. And hey, maybe he was just unlucky. But the point is, we only have this one life. So, are you prepared to take that chance in life? That you will waste the better part of your life working hard so you can relax and enjoy life in the final years? What if you don't reach it? Then what? Because there are no do-overs in life. One thing that we should do is live in the moment. Now, I know how cliche that line sounds. So let's do one better. Let's not wait for retirement to enjoy life. Let's take a lot of breaks in life, a lot of vacations. And yes, most of us, we can't afford to take a lot of vacations. So it should go without saying, you need to get your finances right. You need to stop wasting money on expensive living costs when you can do just fine with a less extravagant life. use money to work less. Life isn't about iPhones, Teslas, and fancy houses. It's about spending time with your family. It's about exploring and enjoying life. And you don't need a lot of money to do that. Now, the second lie is the illusion of retirement. Society sort of paints retirement as a time of relaxation and leisure, a reward for a lifetime of hard work. And we are often led to believe that retirement would bring us freedom without the burden of work. However, the reality of retirement can be quite different from this idealized image. Many retirees find themselves facing financial struggles, healthcare expenses, and loneliness. The promise of carefree days often gives way to the harsh realities of aging, like health issues and financial insecurity. Now, I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone who gets old, but let's face it, as we do grow older, our health will get worse over time. Regardless of where you live in the world, Social Security pension is usually below minimum wages. Social Security is often regarded as, like a safety net, providing financial support for people when they can no longer work. But the truth is that Social Security benefits may not always be enough to sustain a comfortable lifestyle in retirement. In other words, you cannot and should not depend on Social Security, because by the time you reach that age, it will be too late to change things. Now, the third lie about retirement is the Social Security deception. The notion that Social Security will provide a secure retirement is for many a myth, perpetrated by governments and financial institutions. The reality is that Social Security funds are not guaranteed, and there are ongoing concerns about the program's long-term sustainability. The promises of security and support often evaporate when retirees need them the most, leaving many feeling betrayed and abandoned by the system they paid into for years. Now, personally, I've never met a retired person who is happy with his or her pension. Every generation basically gets screwed over, and this is why this wage slave trap works so well. The old retired people are busy trying to survive, and, well, the younger generations, they have their own problems. It's like whining old bastards who will die anyway soon, right? I know that sounds heartless, and it is. That's the problem. Nobody stands up for retired people. Nobody cares about retired people. That's the truth. Now, the fourth lie is the increasing retirement age. Additionally to all of this, the age at which one can claim full benefits keeps increasing, forcing people to work longer than anticipated. So I remember when I was a kid, people retired at 65. And I recently got my pension forecast letter from the government, and it looks like I'm supposed to work until I'm 69. That ain't happening. As the retirement age continues to increase in many countries, people are forced to work longer than anticipated, prolonging their time in the wage slave system. This delay in retirement further undermines the promise of freedom and leisure in later years. It's like if society has built this inflation-like wage slave trap to squeeze every ounce of work from its citizens. Now, I know, I'm sorry, I know all of this sounds very harsh, but you all know it's true. Deep down on some instinctive level, you simply must know that Social Security is bullshit. Now, the fifth and final lie about retirement is the financial industry exploitation. The financial industry often promotes retirement planning, products, and services, claiming to secure a worry-free future. However, hidden fees, market volatility, and misleading promises can erode retirement savings, trapping individuals in a cycle of dependence on financial institutions. For example, we are told this lie from every bank, that the stock market will increase annually 7% per year if we look at the historical trend. And this is a deliberate lie. If you just look at your portfolio, that if you have one, you'll notice that the stock market did not increase 7% during COVID. The stock market did not increase 7% last year when Russia invaded Ukraine. Imagine people who retired during those events. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think investing in stock markets is a bad thing. In fact, there is a logic behind the annual 7%, but it has to do more with averages than anything else. The thing you need to know about investing in the stock market is you need to know when to pool your profits, otherwise you will not see any returns. Social Security is portrayed as a safety net, but it's more like a threadbare rope. Relying on it for retirement is a risky gamble, a gamble that I refuse to take. I've seen too many people fall victim to its false promises, left with nothing when they need it the most. So why have I decided never to retire? Because I refuse to be a slave to the system. I won't spend my life chasing after a retirement that may never come. Instead, I choose to live each day on my own terms, building my own security and independence. Now, I want to give you an example. My mom, who is retired, actually also owns an apartment in Poland that she sublets, getting passive income every month to help her survive, because the pension she currently has is really low. And this is what I'm planning for myself as well. I have my idea for a business as a YouTuber. Now, you can laugh at that if you want, but it's my dream. I know I can do it. I know I can scale my passive income in the future, working less and less over time. Meaning that when I finally do retire, my passive income streams will support me with minimal effort. In short, to all of this, I'm saying it's a really bad idea to rely on Social Security. It's better to build your own financial security. And no, I'm not saying it's easy, but trust me when I tell you that it's a hell of a lot easier building wealth when you are young than it is when you are old and sick. In short, retirement is not the freedom it's made out to be. It's a trap, and it's a trap that I simply just refuse to fall into. Social Security is a scam, and I won't be fooled by its false promises. I choose to live my life on my own terms, free from the shackles of the 9-to-5 grind, and I encourage you to do the same. Or you can continue on the path of the wage slave worker. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you will retire as the only generation in history who didn't get screwed over by Social Security. As always, thank you for listening. Do me a favor and tap the like button to show your support. Subscribe if you're interested in more content like this. Until next time, stay hungry, relentless, and strong in your journey of escaping the wage slavery. Bye. Oh, you're still here. Oh, that's right. It's the behind the scenes vlog. This is a segment in my videos that's for my subscribers who might be interested in personal updates in my life. It's not for everyone, but I do enjoy sharing a more personal side of myself. So stick around if you're interested. So the interesting thing about March 2024 is that we are in the middle of a crypto bull run, or actually it's the beginning of it. And Bitcoin has reached its all-time high, and altcoin season is just around the corner. Now, if you have not invested in crypto, you probably shouldn't do that right now, or at least if you do, invest a tiny amount just to get your feet wet. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are interested to get into the market right now, but here's my advice, and I've made a video about good crypto strategies. The trick here is to buy during bear markets and sell during bull markets. So right now, I'm not buying anything. I'm just selling and selling. I sort of expect to make a small fortune from it, but I don't presume to know the future. I have certain prediction about certain coins that I'm invested in, but a few years ago, I made a video about how I'm a crypto millionaire, which was a bit of a clickbait title. The truth is, I made a lot of money in the last crypto bull run, but greed, it sort of kept me from selling most of it, and the market crashed and I didn't make as much as I could have. So yeah. Oh, and today I wanted to sort of share one of my vices for you. It's actually cameras. It's a silly thing. I know. I love cameras. I spend money on cameras. It's ridiculous. And this is not sponsored video or anything like that. This is one of the last cameras that I recently bought. It's a very tiny little camera. This is the Insta 360 Go 3. It's so tiny, comparing it to that old VHS recorder that my dad used to have, in the 80s. It's just crazy to me. And so I spend money on cameras because I'm just amazed with camera technology. And there's something about just capturing a fragment of life. It's just something that I'm really, really into. And I actually have a channel about cameras, TS Camera Gear, if you're interested to check that out. But yeah, that's one of my vices, okay? One of my hobbies or passions, if you will. I'd have 2 trips planned this year. One is to Stockholm, where I'm going to visit my mom. I grew up in Stockholm, and I really don't miss Stockholm at all. It's very busy and big city, at least in comparison to other Swedish cities. But I feel I sort of have to do it. The regret of not seeing my father before he passed made me think twice about my mom. And also, I do have a plan to meet a very old friend of mine that I haven't seen in ages. And the second trip is later this summer when I have to go back to Poland to be at the trial of my father's inheritance. I'd rather not go, but I sort of feel like I have to, I just have to do it. I really just prefer solitude and self-reflection about other things. Traveling and exploration, it's fine, I suppose, but I made a video about that. It's called It's Okay to Be a Loner, if you want to hear my thoughts about that. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thanks again for watching and listening, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye.